Please, I can't sleep.
It's time to listen to Courtney at last on the Ramblings of an Insomniac podcast.
Hello. Buckle up your seats. Buckle up your seats? That didn't make any sense. Buckle your seatbelts. Hold on to your seats. That's what I meant. Welcome to episode 85 of the Ramblings of an Insomniac. And yeah, you probably should get some coffee and get comfortable because I am overflowing with things on my mind. And I have quite literally been staying up like all night. Well, I guess I can't say literally because I've been sleeping anywhere from 1 to 3 hours a night for the past 3 nights now. And it's definitely making me very emotional. It's making me sensitive. It's making me anxiety ridden. I'm exhausted. It's not a good feeling. I can tell you that. And then you compact that with just genuine stress and actual things going on in my life that aren't fun to deal with. Then, you try to deal with those things while you are exhausted. And like I said, because I'm exhausted and stuff, it's making me extra anxiety ridden and emotional. And so everything is affecting me 100 times more than it normally would. And it's making my heart just go bananas. But my heart is like going 100 miles an hour. And sorry, again, my dogs are breathing in the background. I'm outside but okay. So like I said, if you don't have some coffee and if you're not comfortable, you should probably get comfy. Get yourself something that's going to keep you up. Because I feel like it's going to be a long one today. All right, so let's start from the top here. I was driving through the city next to mine, and I was stopped at a light, and it was a 2-lane road, and I was on the right-hand side, and on the left, there was a homeless person that had a stick that was very, very tall. It was like from the ground to like his hips probably, and he was probably about a 6'2" guy. And he was taking it and pretending that it was a gun and pretending that he was shooting everybody that was waiting in line for the light to turn. And you could tell that he was clearly on some type of drug. So it is a good thing he didn't actually have a real gun in his hands. But he also started to then take the stick and start shaking it at people and getting very close. He was putting the stick like inches away from the car that was in the left lane, inches away from his windshield. And I thought, oh my God, what if that guy just starts like trying to break the window? What if that guy steps out in front of traffic? What if that guy, who knows, does something while the cars are stopped or even while the cars are going and he's out there trying to walk in the middle of the road? And it broke my heart and also infuriated me at the same time. It broke my heart because that is somebody's family member. That is somebody's friend. And they are struggling and they are an addict. And that makes me sad. It makes me sad for that person and it makes me sad for their family. And it breaks my heart because if it were my sons or one of my family members or my friend, how heart-wrenching. And I just, there are so many homeless people now, and there's such a fentanyl crisis. There's a homeless crisis. And it got me thinking, wow, what brought us to this point? And I can't just blame the Democrats, because homelessness has always been an issue. And no matter what, it's always going to be. It doesn't matter how fantastic of a government you are. It doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat. It doesn't matter if you get help from both sides. There's always going to be, nothing's going to be perfect. Homelessness is going to be, always was an issue. It's always been an issue. But the level that it has gotten to, the point that it is just scary, that is just our government in general. I'm not going to blame one party. It is a fault in our government, and it's a fault in us as society, I feel. I really genuinely hate that if these poor people, I feel like, may not have gotten where they were had they had support from family and or friends from the very beginning, from a very young age. I feel like if they had counseling from a young age, if they have both parents involved, if they have maybe religion or sports or some type of extracurricular activity that's healthy, like, I don't know, riding horses or playing a sport or doing some type of like photography or whatever. There are just so many things, obviously, that we all know that can be lacking, that ends up that someone ends up becoming an addict because one or more of those things are lacking. They didn't have support, or they didn't have a 2-family home, or they didn't get a mental condition diagnosed early or properly. Or, there's just so many things. So many things go into what makes someone become an addict and others not. It's such a combination, but one of the things is counseling and proper diagnosis early. Proper diagnosis of depression and bipolar, proper diagnosis of PTSD or schizophrenia, and having support, having a parent or both parents or a family member or a friend that you can count on and you can talk to. Those things are important, very important. Obviously, being able to have some type of extracurricular activity to occupy your mind. Like I said, like sports or photography or underwater basket weaving. I don't know, but something else that you can put your time and energy into other than drugs. But our system is broken, and we don't have enough counselors and psychiatrists. We need more. We're in desperate, dire need of counselors and psychiatrists. We need to figure out homeopathic ways to deal with mental illnesses, and we also need to look at prescription ways to deal with it. I'm not against either one. I am against China having any type of hands on our pharmaceutical, on our medication. I don't think they should be touching it because, unfortunately, I don't trust China, and I don't trust what they may be putting into our medication. Sorry, not sorry. That's a whole other thing that I'll talk about later. So, mental note, come back to the whole China thing. But unfortunately, things don't get diagnosed early because people don't have access to get to a counselor, or they don't have money to go to a counselor, or they don't have transportation to go to a counselor, or maybe they don't believe in a counselor. Or if you can't go to a counselor, maybe you can go to your church, or to a friend or something. But it's sad because, unfortunately, I think a lot of these issues, if they were able to get to a counselor or a psychiatrist and able to either get on medication or take something natural or I don't know. There's a million things I know that can go into 1 to 10 things that you can do that all goes into, like I said, why someone becomes an addict. But it's definitely, we need more counselors and we need people to have better access to counselors. And also, like I said, it really does have a lot to do with, do you have one or both parents in the home? And are one or both of those parents, if they're in the home, are they actually participating in your life? Or are they too addicts? Do you have extracurricular activities? Do you have friends and family members that you can count on? There's just so many things. There are so many things. There are so many things. But anyway, I saw this man and he was, like I said, very clearly on drugs. And the area that I was in has a building called the Ark that feeds homeless people and helps homeless people out. So because of that, there is a very large homeless population in that area. And I said that part of me is just crying inside because it kills me to see, I'm sorry, my neighbors are doing construction again, and that's lovely. Like I said, there's part of me that is, my heart is breaking, and I absolutely feel for these people. And then the other half of me is scared, very scared, because someone can get hurt. Like I said, this guy was acting like he was shooting people. And who's to say that he won't try to break a window? Who's to say he won't try to do something? Who's to say he won't get access to a knife or something and do that to somebody? And there are a lot of homeless people on drugs right now that do not know what they are doing and could very well be hurting an innocent person. Throw on top of that, Oregon, in all of its liberal glory, wanted to pass a bill called the Right to Rest Bill. And I think I've discussed this before, but the right to rest was going to allow people to essentially live on the sidewalk and the little patch of grass right in front of your house. Right in front of your house. You could have a fence up and they would be allowed to live right up against that fence. Or if you don't have a fence at all, there's nothing protecting you from the sidewalk or other people from your home, and it's just like an open yard with no fence, they're allowed to camp out and live on the sidewalk right up against your property line, right up against your yard. They would be able to go to the bathroom, do drugs, fight. They'd be allowed to just live there, throw garbage all over. Now, you're paying taxes. You're getting up and you're working. Whether you are exhausted or depressed, whether you're sad or angry, you have to drag your butt up and go to work every day, and you have to pay taxes. So you put your time and energy into going to work to pay taxes so that you can clean up other people's literal shit and garbage and needles. Needles? How safe is that? Just needles all over your yard. Garbage and poop. That sounds sanitary, right? That sounds healthy. That sounds safe too. So you have to worry about those people who are now on drugs breaking into your home or destroying your car or destroying your home. And nowadays, the victim is not the actual victim. The victim is not the person that had their home broken into or their house destroyed or got hurt because somebody broke into their home and killed them or hurt them. The victim is not the person that got their house robbed. The victim is not the one that is feeling unsafe and having people outside their property crapping all over their house that they have to pick up. Unsanitary things that now they have to pick up. Where are you going to dispose of hypodermic needles? Where are you going to dispose of needles and a bunch of human feces? In your own garbage? So they're dealing with that. But the real victims in the liberals' eyes are the burglars that break into your home, are the homeless people that shoot up needles. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I said, they are a victim also. They are a victim of addiction. They are a victim of mental health. They are a victim of many things, but you are also a victim if your home is being broken into. You are also a victim if you're paying taxes and now people are allowed to, like I said, throw feces and needles into your yard or possibly break into your home. And now keep in mind, there's a very, very, very large homeless population. So we're not talking just one or two people right outside of your home on drugs, not knowing what they're doing, not making good choices. Oh, no, no, no. There are many, 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 many homeless people outside of your door, hopped up on drugs, hallucinating, seeing things out of their minds. And, somehow that's okay. That was going to be, there was going to be a law, the right to rest, saying they are allowed to do that. And there's not a damn thing we can do. Not only is there nothing that we as taxpayers can do, but we also, if we do try to kick them off of the sidewalk in front of our property, we will get fined. We'll get fined. It's like that freaking thing where if someone falls through the skylight of your home as they are breaking into your home to rob you and or kill you, and as they're breaking through the skylight, they fall and they like break their hip. The robber is now allowed, not now, is allowed to sue you. So the person that is breaking into your home is allowed to sue you for getting hurt while they were illegally coming into your home to steal your belongings and or hurt you or kill you. Now, whether they would actually win the case, maybe they would not win the case, but it shouldn't even be it shouldn't even be allowed to go to court. We shouldn't set that standard. That's not a standard that you want to start setting, that you could even bring those bullshit lawsuits. We shouldn't be batting an eye. We shouldn't be giving them 1 second. Don't feed into that. Just like the dude that sued Red Bull because Red Bull didn't give him wings. Either A, he's a moron if he actually thought that Red Bull would give him actual wings, then he's an idiot and probably Darwin needs to take over a little bit. Or he just thought that it was an opportunity to get rich. Either way, it should not have been allowed to even be seen by a judge. They should have been like, what the hell ever, ripped it up and said, go fuck yourself. You're an idiot. We're not going to reward people being an idiot, nor are we going to reward someone trying to break into your home. Just like now, if I have a no trespassing sign on my property and someone decides to trespass, all I'm allowed to do is go, hey, get off my property. And yes, I can call the police. But let's say that person breaks into my home. I'm not allowed to shoot them. I have to basically go, hey, if you don't mind, sir or madam, could you kindly walk out my door, please? Could you kindly remove yourself from my home if it isn't a bother to you? The only time you're allowed to shoot somebody is if you feel that your life is in danger. Well, I hate to tell you this, but the second that a stranger that I did not invite into my home walks into my door, and once I ask them to leave and they don't, that is, even if I don't ask them to leave, if a stranger walks into my door that I did not invite, that I don't want there, especially if I have no trespassing signs and private property signs, that automatically makes me feel on the defense. I automatically feel fearful, especially as a woman with my background. I do not have a good background. And that would immediately make me feel unsafe, especially if it were a man. Now, when I say shoot, I don't necessarily mean shoot and kill a person. You can shoot someone in the shoulder. You can shoot someone in the foot. You can shoot someone in the butt. I don't know how good of a shot people are. A lot of people may not know how to shoot a gun, but then you probably shouldn't own a gun if you don't know how to shoot it. Just saying. If you've never ever shot a gun, but you have gun for protection, that's kind of stupid. You should probably learn how to shoot. Now, because you know how to shoot a gun doesn't mean you're a good shot. Maybe you're a lousy shot. Okay, maybe you should practice. But point being, you know not to aim at like the heart and the head. So, you know, or maybe don't aim at the spleen. So maybe just go for the frickin' arm or go for the foot. If you point your gun down, you're obviously not going to shoot someone in the head or the heart or the lungs or the spleen. You can aim for the legs. So when I say shoot, again, I'm not necessarily saying shoot to kill. However, if that person is going to come at me, I'm going to shoot to kill because they are in my home uninvited coming at me after I have said not to and after there were signs in my front yard telling you not to come the fuck over here. And then if you are a stranger and breaking into my home, and we all know that people breaking into someone's home, 9 times out of 10, they're probably also going to harm you if you are in the way. Because I'm pretty sure they're not just going to go, oh yeah, let's leave them around to identify us. They probably don't want loose ends. So there is just a lot right now that seems like it's the victim and the homeless population. I'm sorry, but if there are so many people right now that are so far gone that I don't know if you can help them. And that breaks my heart because, again, that is somebody's child or somebody's spouse or somebody's uncle, aunt, sibling, friend, whatever. And if that were my sons, I would be dying. I'd be devastated. That's not even the right words. There aren't words to describe how horribly anxiety ridden and sad I would feel. But at the same time, I'm like, these poor people are in misery. They are suffering. The effects of these drugs are irreversible. And what are we going to do with all the homeless now? So if we get shelters, okay, you can only go into a shelter if you're clean. How many people are going to get clean when they don't have counseling, when they don't have detox programs, when they don't have something else to sidetrack them with that keeps their mind off of doing drugs? Okay, let's say we have a program where we teach them skills, kind of like a Job Corps program, like a trade school, where now they can fidget by, knitting, or they can fidget by weaving something. They can fidget by doing mechanical things, carpentry, whatever. Okay, but you can't be on drugs when you're doing that. So you have to detox first, but you have to want to detox first. You can't just force someone into detox. I mean, I suppose you can. I guess you can. We can force everybody into some big place and all at the same time detox thousands and thousands of people. I love all the programs out there that have places where you can go make a resume and they can teach you how to make a resume and they will cut your hair and they will let you take a shower and they will give you clothes to be able to go do interviews and teach you how to do interviews. Those programs are amazing. And those programs work really, really well for people that are not so far gone that they are standing on the side of the road, not knowing where the hell they are and pretending to shoot people with a stick. People that are hunched over, that zombie, I think they're calling it like the zombie drug, or it's mortifying. It's sad, it's scary. And I'm sorry, but I'm also scared. Again, this is a lot of people. The homeless population is huge right now. And they're encroaching on city after city, town after town. And if they take away our guns, well, now we have nothing to defend ourselves with. What the fuck are we going to do now? I love how our government just wants to, again, I touched on this before, but our government wants to keep us all ignorant, uneducated, and unprotected. They want to censor us. They don't want us talking to each other and working together. They want to keep us divided. And I don't care what country you live in. I don't give a shit what country you're in. Every single form of government has an ultimatum. Now, maybe Switzerland's government is only 15% selfish, only 15% narcissistic, and 15% corrupt. And the other 85, they genuinely want what's best for its citizens. And maybe there are several countries out there who have people that are leading their country that have the best intentions and are genuinely taking what their people have to say to heart, and they are doing right by them. But even those people have, I would say, at the very minimum, 20% of corruption going on and narcissism, where they really don't totally give a crap about you. Again, some countries have more of this going on than others. Our country, for example, is 1000% corrupt. They do not give a rat's ass about us. Not at all. They care about the people that are easily manipulated. They prey on, like a cult leader, they prey on the vulnerable. How disgusting is that? Like, what kind of sociopath likes to toy with people's emotions, likes to play games on a grand level? We all know it's not really Biden running the show right now. We know this. This is just a fact. Biden has dementia. He's gone. The man doesn't know what day it is, what time it is, where he's at. He barely knows his name. Kamala is just a full-blown idiot. We all know she's not calling shit. So it's not Biden and Kamala that are calling the strings right now, calling the shots right now. We know that it is the big pharmaceutical companies. We know that it's Bill Gates. We know that it's JP Morgan. We know it's these big companies. We know that it's some politicians. We know that it's just a whole soup, a sticky, gross soup, stew, I guess I should say, of people that are involved in trying to make damn sure that we all stay ignorant. We all stay ignorant and divided, and that they just keep stirring that pot and keeping our eye off the ball. And it's disgusting that there are people out there that are, again, so vulnerable and easily manipulated. And unfortunately, when Fox News does what it did, when Fox Network, pulled the crap about not allowing other networks to use clips from the debate, the Republican debate, that's bullshit. Because again, you're keeping us ignorant. Now, granted, I understand that they're trying to do it so that they can gain followers. They can, people will watch them and they'll get more viewers and stuff. But you are denying the public information, important information. So now Fox is being a part of not giving us all the information that we need. It's just we're in a weird time right now, a very, very, very troubling time, especially, again, to get back to China. Again, I'm not against the Chinese people, not against the Chinese people. Whenever I speak about a country, I'm not saying that I'm against that entire country as a whole. I'm saying like how it is ran. I don't like how their government is ran. I'm not saying that I hate the people in the country, because I'm not sure, I know for 100,000% fact that there are people in every country that are amazing and wonderful, and there are people that are douches. What country you're from is irrelevant. There are assholes and nice people all over, regardless of where you are living. So when I say China, I'm just speaking of the government. I would never in 100 years want to think that a government is capable of poisoning an entire country and its citizens and trying to kill them off. That said, would not at all bat an eye if China wasn't lacing our medication with God knows what. I wouldn't bet it. It wouldn't shock me at all if I found that out. They probably are doing that as we speak, currently, right now. So we're continuing, though, to allow China to make our drugs. Why? Is our government in on it? Or is our government trying to kill us off? Do they want us dead? Are they just like COVID trying to mandate those shots? Trying to mandate stuff and keep us locked up? I mean, is our government trying to kill us? They're for abortion. They just love abortion. Kamala slipped up and said that, she's trying to get rid of people. So, I mean, what a scary fucking time right now. The homeless population, what do? You can't do anything right now. It's like trying to put your pinky in the hole to plug a dam. Oh my God, that is obnoxious in the background. Sorry. Again, my neighbors are working on stuff. But you can't, it's gone so far, and I will blame the Democratic Party right now for how far the homeless crisis has gotten. It's a crisis. And the way that COVID was handled, COVID was a made up fucking thing just to kick us down again. The level of corruption and greed and narcissism and evil that our government has been a part of is mind-boggling, scary, and sad. Anyone living in a corrupt government, we all somehow just need to. I don't understand how it's illegal to say fuck you. We are not goddamn doing this anymore. We are going to storm the Capitol because you have overstepped your boundaries. You are in the wrong, and it is we the people. And when you end up taking over, we the people have a right to say, no, you don't get to fucking do this anymore. You are no longer running the ship anymore. Your term is done. Get the fuck out. So it's okay for them to poison us. It's okay for them to keep us divided, to keep us hating each other. It's okay to give everybody COVID and then give a weird ass vaccine that hadn't even been on the shelves longer than like 7 months. It's okay for them to let China take care of our meds, to keep us uneducated, to say it's okay for pedophiles to have rights, pedophiles, to say that it's okay for abortion after a baby has already been born and is outside the womb. So murder is okay. It's okay for a burglar to break into your home and sue you if they get hurt while doing so. Again, I don't know if a judge would ever award a burglar for that, but the fact that it's even allowed to be a lawsuit is fucking ridiculous. The list of disgusting, deplorable actions that have taken place on behalf of our politicians is endless. Endless. It's scaring me. And again, that homeless person, I'm like, what if that person really had a gun? What if that person was trying to break her window? I don't know if after I left, if he didn't try to break someone's window. I don't know if he didn't step in front of a car. I don't know. But that is somebody's family member, somebody's friend. And again, if I keep picturing what would I do if that were my child? But at the same time, I know this is okay. Well, let me say this instead. I don't like that these people did not get the opportunity to see a counselor and get on medication and stuff. But now they are so far gone and so out of reality that I feel like they're suffering I feel like they're suffering and they are. You know how when you have a dog or an animal that is suffering, they can't stand up, they can't walk, they're in pain, and you don't want them to suffer. So you make the decision. Sorry, I had to pause it for a second. My neighbors are it's not their fault, they're being loud. They're working on their deck, they're loud. But anyway, when a dog is suffering and they can't even stand up, they can't even walk, they're in pain and they're suffering. You decide to put them down because you no longer want them to suffer. I'm not suggesting you put people down. It's just sad to me to know that they are suffering and there's nothing we can do and they're not going to get any better. They're not going to get better. There's not a solution right now. We do not have the manpower to handle not only all these homeless people, but now we have illegal immigrants just flooding through the border. So now we have homeless people and we have illegal immigrants all over. And we have illegal immigrants that are bringing fentanyl in and that are stealing our children and using them for sex trafficking. And they are breaking into places. Now, so is our own citizens. Our own citizens are, we have that shit going on with American citizens as well. But now we have all kinds of illegal immigrants. Now, here's what's funny. The states that wanted that said, come on in. It doesn't matter if you're illegal. It doesn't matter if you're part of the cartel. It doesn't matter if you are going to use our children for sex trafficking. It doesn't matter if that puts our own citizens out on the streets. We don't care. Come on in. Come on in. Bring your crime. Those same fucking states, those same sanctuary cities are now bitching, having the audacity to complain because their cities are overran by crime and they don't have room for people. Tough shit. You wanted it, California. You wanted it, New York. This is like a whole Martha's Vineyard thing. You don't get to act like you want these people while you were sitting behind your secure, gated community with cameras and guards and probably a gun and locked windows and locked doors. So now all of a sudden, when it's affecting you, now you're bitching about it. And then you have the audacity to say that the Republican Party is being shady and using illegal immigrants as pawns because they are shipping the immigrants to these sanctuary cities. That's interesting because you chose to be a sanctuary city. You said you wanted these people. You said these people are welcome. You're the reason we don't have a wall. And we all said, hey, this is going to cause a lot of problems. This is going to cause a ton of problems. And here they are. And you're like, oh, pish tosh. No, it's not going to do anything. Don't worry. And you said that because you didn't fucking think that you actually had to suffer the consequences. And now that you do, suddenly these people are being used as pawns. No, you were using them as pawns. You were using them for political gain, political power to manipulate. And now that someone called your bluff and said, fine, you want these people, you take these people. And it is bullshit. So what we need to do, and I don't give a fuck if people think I disagree with this and get pissed off and have a cow. Don't care. Sorry, not sorry.